to D.R.I.V.E.N TV, here where we're helping you to elevate your success and step into your greatness. This season, we continue our conversation with the power of art. But today, we're doing a very special episode. Today, we recognize one of our very special community lights. His name was D.R.I.V.E.N. He was a leader, a brother, a cousin, a very special friend, a son, and very powerful in our community. In 2015, D.R.I.V.E.N, shortly after we met, actually assisted me in a short film that we made in reference to my book, I Heard Chicago Crime Outcry. This was against gun violence and hate crimes. And we wanted to deliver a message that showed the impacts that gun violence has in the community, in the children, and in the families, everyone that it touches. So at this time, I want to share with you our artistry through film and show you the devout leader that he was and the power and influence he had with people. So give us a moment as we take a look at Prince, I Heard.
See, come in and left. Brother Prince has come into our lives.
Okay, the microphone's off.
Also.
Microphone's off. Set together.
Oh God, guide me, protect me, make of me a shining lamp and a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and the powerful. O God, guide me, protect me, make of me a shining lamp and a brilliant star. So today, here's kind of a beautiful day, but it also is kind of a sad day in my heart. I just wanted to let you know that one of my friends that I grew up with, he died recently. And we wanted to get together today and remember him and to make sure we never forget him and keep him in our heart. Does anybody else have anybody that they know that has left the planet or has left their body? Really interesting when we lose somebody that's really old, because that's what life is, right? Life, you live, and then when you get old enough, your body stops working so much, so your spirit can go away. Guess how old Prince was when he died? He was 20 years old. And so is that a full life? 20 years? No. Do you want to live past 20 years? Yes. Yeah. And so one of the things we want to do today is really start to think about what is going on when there's people that we love being killed and taken away and they're too young. Does that make sense that they're being killed? No? Do y'all want it to stop? Yes? Right. So let's get in a circle and let's just start remembering. There's a song right here I want to teach you. And it's helpful for remembering people that have been lost. So pop up for a second.
Whew, a little hard to watch,
right here,
but powerful. It just shows you the voice and the connection that D.R.I.V.E.N, our loving brother in the community and our community activist that spoke for generations. He represented so much in our community. And unfortunately, he was taken from us early as well. But that doesn't mean anything. As he said in our video, his spirit lives on, and it's up to us to continue his legacy. I have with us today someone to share on that wonderful legacy that he had. Ms. Regina Mujahid of the Sounds of R.B.M., also known as Sister Soldier. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her connection with D.R.I.V.E.N and how beautiful of a person he was.
Well, I met my brother about 2 years ago, and matter of fact, and that's when I met you a couple of years ago, and such a very inspirational thing to me to have known my brother because he was strong-willed, he was determined, and I decided to do an award to give him in the trenches, Sister Soldier in the trenches. And I felt this brother, he was a hard worker, fighting for injustice, not only to his people, but people, period. And that's what I love about him. He loved the drums, and we drummed together many times. And he always called me Queen, Mama, Queen. And I love my brother. He was such a special brother. And it's heartbreaking to me to see that he had to leave so early. But the work does go on.
That's right.
It goes on.
That's right. And I think that's something that's very important. You know, D.R.I.V.E.N was someone that light and love followed wherever he went. He touched the hearts and minds of others. And I think it's important you brought up that connection. You know, a lot of the relationships that I have here, even though I'm from Charleston, but coming back home and getting back involved in the community, those connections, you know, the focal point was D.R.I.V.E.N. You know, Moya actually connected us.
Yes.
I remember the first time we physically met was in the library at a Black Lives Matter meeting. And then the next thing you know, he just approached me and asked me to join him for the Selma viewing. So I had a poem that I had written. He wanted me to perform. And as much as I've been in front of a crowd, I was sweating bullets when we got there because I realized the theater was packed. And then we had Senator Rolland Kempson there and who sponsored the theater. And I was terrified. You were outside with your drum,
My drum,
and he connected us.
Yes.
And we've been connected ever since. I remember going out there and I did my poem, and the next thing I know, he's right next to me playing the drums, and we just got so passionate about what we were doing. Nothing else mattered. What mattered was the message and the people that it touched.
Yes.
And our relationship didn't end there. It was the beginning of so much more and so many other connections that he helped make. Yes. And he continued to do that in the community. I mean, he's such a beautiful person. He's touched the hearts of many. Yes. I know he worked a lot in the community with myself. We actually gathered drums together, and we would go on the playgrounds and play the drums with the children in the neighborhood, and their families would come. I mean, we literally... His energy was so powerful. I remember being in a circle one time. Yes. We were in a drum circle. We were playing a game with the children, and we had some adults come up. And there was a gentleman. He was an elder, and he had such great advice. But, you know, he looked at him, and he found this gentle way. I call him, you know, that gentle heart, that gentle talk of letting you know you might have been doing something wrong and how to do it better. He let him know that he appreciated his wisdom and he shared. And we encouraged him to continue to share that sober. The next drum circle, that gentleman, and every circle after that was sober when he came. Yeah. And he was not offended. He was grateful. And that's just the kind of power and influence that he had and continues to have. I feel like his light has now just spread out to the earth. Yes. And his legacy will continue to live on. Yes. And for those who don't know D.R.I.V.E.N Baha, I mean, from the connections that he made, for example, through the two of us, the children, the lives that he's touched, his community programs that he designed and created, the selfless individual that he was, anybody here in the community, you will see it speak for itself. I think his actions spoke louder than any words can bear. And there'll be a lot of people that are trying to paint an ugly picture of him, but that certainly isn't who or what he was. He was definitely a hero in my book. Oh, yes. He leapt for justice in many ways, not just with the Confederate flag. There's so much more to him and his story than just that. There was much more before, and there's so much more that will continue after. And I think just like in the video with Prince I Heard, it's important to him that we stop the killing of each other, killing of us being killed, but just in general, there's got to be another way than with guns. There's got to be another way than with death and bloodshed and heartache. There's got to be other ways that we can resolve our issue. Oh, yes. And for anybody that knew him, the drum was definitely a voice. Yes. I mean, I remember seeing this guy carry drums on a bike. I still cannot figure out logically how he could have a drum on one shoulder, drum under his arm, and pedaling on his bike. It didn't matter what he was doing, but he would find a way to take that drum into a community. If it would just keep a couple of people off the street, if it give us a safe space for just a moment to start a conversation. Yes. If he didn't have a drum, he had his flute. Right. Even if he had it parted up in the braids where he had that flute somewhere and his drum somewhere else. And he's just a very powerful person. Well, you know, Mr. Gia, if there was anything that you think he would want to say or you would want to say to him, what would it be?
What I would like to say to him is that he's a brother that is well missed. He's a brother that came to teach us something to carry forward. He's a brother that if he said he's going to be there, he's going to be there. And the last stuff, the violence that we did, he got everybody involved with the drumming. He's just a unity person. He brought everybody together. Mm-hmm. And I love that about him. And I want to say thank you. Thank you, my brother. I've known you. It was short, but it was sweet. Something I would carry on for the rest of my life, knowing that a young brother like you stood up against the bad wolves here in Charleston and elsewhere that you traveled. They only took away your body, but they didn't take away your soul. For your soul carries on, and it lives within us. The example that all the young folks here need to stand up, rise up against injustice, start with self and with others. That's what I love to tell them.
That's right. And I know you brought today something very special that you wanted to share with us and dedicate to Mahidi. So we would like to give you at this time a chance to share that with us as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Virginia, for sharing that with us. And I'm sure that Mahidi is surrounding us right now. And I know he's banging on his drum and playing his flute, because he will continue. His work will continue through us. And the love and passion he shared with so many will continue. I feel it already. And I know he shared it with my daughter. He's known her since the time she started taking her first steps. And he just had this special relationship with her and so many others. And we thank you, and we will continue. When we come back, we have two other young ladies that shared quite a journey with him, and they're going to share their experiences and give their love and their impression of the wonderful life that D.R.I.V.E.N was and continues to be. Thank you. Welcome back to D.R.I.V.E.N TV, continuing our conversation with the power of art. And today we continue a very, very special show as we honor the life of our fellow community member and our brother, our loved and lost soldier, D.R.I.V.E.N, also known to our community as Moya. With me at this time, I am going to introduce two very special friends and comrades as well. Kimberly Bowman, as we all know, also the exquisite one. And we have Regina Duggins, aka Gina Mocha. She is joining us, they both are joining us to share in D.R.I.V.E.N's story, a very special and bright light in our community. He was unfortunately taken from us way too early, but his work and his legacy will continue to live on and beyond. So we want to talk today about this wonderful connection that he has with us. Kimberly, tell me about your connection with D.R.I.V.E.N.
Well, I met D.R.I.V.E.N before he was D.R.I.V.E.N and he was just Moya. One of my best friends she lives in Philadelphia right now, but she introduced me to him. I met him I'm assuming when he first got to Charleston and, I think after school and things like that. And he was a part of the Baha'i community and I knew a lot of people that were involved with that, including my best friend. And so I kind of met him through there. And I just thought he was really weird when I first met him. Because I was like, who is this black man that's always smiling? Like, he just always just seemed to never be having a bad day. He just always seemed to be very happy just about anything. And it was weird to me because I was like, I was young at the time, so I was like, what are you so happy about? What is there to smile about? And I thought he was like the sweetest person in the world. And I never heard him yell, saw him get angry or anything like that. He just always seemed to have this very pleasant, well nature about him. And then I know shortly, when I first started my business, I know he was really looking into getting involved in the community and he wanted to work together. And we didn't quite get together the way that we wanted to, but I was always very supportive of him. And every time he would see me, he would come and hug me and he's like, it's so good to see you. And he's had these warm hugs that I thought was weird too. I was like, are you like just walking sunshine? It was just so weird. But I mean, it was always good to see him and he was always very pleasant. And I could tell even in the beginning before he got involved with Black Lives Matter, and he was just somebody that just wanted to help in the community, how genuine he was and how positive he was. And people always say there's nothing here in Charleston, there's nothing good in Charleston, but I feel like he was that good that was in Charleston. I really feel like he was that piece of sunshine, and he saw the good in Charleston. He saw the potential in people, and he was the one that knew like things can get better, things can change, things can improve, so.
Yes, and I agree. He definitely is somebody who was very passionate. And a lot of people see him as the Black Lives Matter, but there was more to him. He was always Moya. He was always even before Black Lives Matter. He just wanted to help.
Yeah.
And he was genuine. You're right, I haven't heard him yell. And he always had this instant connection and influence over people. He was one of the only ones with my daughter, when she wanted to play shy, he could get to drum in the middle of a field and show her wilderness side and let it all go. And I remember even when I met him, there was one question that I used to always have in the back of my mind, and that drove me a little crazy about him, because my daughter would ask a question, and that was, where are your shoes? And as soon as he would come around, my daughter would go, Mommy, can I take my shoes off? And I'm like, no, baby, why do you need to take your shoes off? I didn't understand. I didn't get his connection to the earth. I didn't understand. And then, he introduced me to the Baha'i faith, and I was very confused at first, but just the light and the positive energy that just radiated off of him, it opens me up to so much more. And I just appreciated him. My daughter and him were very, very close. I mean, so close to the point where even on the day of, my daughter asked to play drums with him. And we hadn't seen him in a little while. He's just a beautiful spirit. How about you, Gina? Did you have any of those barefoot moments with D.R.I.V.E.N, the AKA wilderness, drumming, flute playing, dread guy?
Well, the time meeting him, it was just like at Sanders Clyde had a after school program, and he was coming for a PTA meeting. So I got to see him in full activist mode, which was great because I'm passionate about just all students learning, and that's what he was strong on in the PTA meeting. And he was challenging parents to step up and be that strong asset that they are in their kids' lives. So I was just impressed by him. So at the end of the meeting, I came over to him, and him and I shared a few, we was conversing, and he was just like, I'm gonna see you around, sis, He was like, don't worry, we're not fighting this battle alone. Right. So the next time I saw him, he was drumming, then it was another time, but the last time was the screening of Detroit. So at the end, he had Q&As, and we shared that moment and the tragedies that was happening in the movie. And he was like, you know what? He said, every time I hear about you or see you, it's in a positive light. He's like, we definitely got to do some work together. He said, and we're going to keep on lifting up Charleston. And I said, even though I'm not a native born here, a Charlestonian, but I said, we're Black. That culture and that will and that drive for us to do better is just in us. And he was like, yes. And he kept saying, right on, sister, right on, sister. And I said, we'll meet again. And so when I heard about this tragedy, all it did was inspire me to keep on moving forward. Like, I've always idolized Martin Luther King and his I Have a Dream and what he meant to the community and bringing all diversities. He just wanted us to love each other and be together and grow. And I just feel like that's my mission now. And losing, Moya, but having a rising angel, I call them, is going to help us get through this and weather this storm.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I was definitely very upset, very, angry, that, and I didn't believe it at first until, you go on social media and I first saw the post and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And, I was seeing people talking about it more and more and more, and it just broke my heart. But at the same time, after, you shed those tears and you have that moment, it kind of made me feel like angry, but also I felt all this wave of passion came over me, and, the things that, I'm very passionate about in the community, and, things that I want to do, it just fueled that even more. Because I always admired how, he gave his life to everything. It's like, he didn't care. It's just like he cared, but it's just like he didn't care about himself. He cared about the people, and he cared about building relationships, and he cared about, making a difference, and, getting people to wake up and realize things. And, he was always just a very positive person. So, I feel like some of his spirit kind of crept up in me, and now I'm feeling it. Now I'm yeah, I want to go do some stuff. Like,
and you know your F
yeah, that was it was the infectious smile.
That infectious smile and the bare feet. I'm telling you, and that flu.
And I'll never forget, like, I used to always, and I was living in West Ashley, and I didn't know he lived, like, not far from where I lived at. And I would always see him walking. And I'd be driving, going to the gas station, get some snacks and all that. And I would see him, it would be hot. And I'm like, dude, get in the car. And he's like, no, sister, I'm good. He was like, I live right there. I'm going to just walk. And the whole time just smiling. And I was like, get in the car. Like, I don't care if you live right there, if you live over here. Like, get in the car. Like, but he was a very selfless person, and I could always appreciate that about him and love that about him. And it frustrated me at times, but
and I think that's something, he just had an infectious personality and love. True love. Even if he had just met you, he loved you. And it was genuine.
Even if he didn't know you.
He loved you. Even if you did wrong to him, he still loved you in spite of it and just wanted to help you sort through your mess. And, there's good and bad things about that, because there are people that appreciate it and there are people that play off of it as well and try to take advantage of that. And he knew that, but his heart was still, I am fighting for the people. And I will continue no matter what. And for those who don't know, because I know we've been talking this whole time, but Mahidi, about how he was only 32 years old, on Monday was in Louisiana where he was gunned down. And unfortunately, never made it back home. But we know that although it was early, to us, we never know what God's design really, his plan is, but it does touch the lives of other people, and it just shows you people all over. It isn't just in Charleston. He's traveled around. The love and passion that he shared with others everywhere that he went is being reflected in the media and social media. And even though there are going to be some people that try to attack his character, we know the truth. And that's what the purpose of today is, to share the truth and share what we have experienced and what we know of him. I noticed in the media they pointed out his arrest. It's interesting because the arrests were for the people. He was arrested for standing up and protecting others.
Use a mugshot. And as a way to be able to further attack your character. It just shows how people didn't really know him. But the media is going to do what they need to do.
They're going to try to play on that negative stuff. But the interesting is, even in his mugshot, he still had this calming aura about him.
Even in the bond hearing, and he was just like, and I'm sitting there like,
and he's that the one thing that he always does, that little bow. And
he was doing that.
He did it so much that even my daughter picked it up. She apologizes to me for anything, I apologize, Mommy. And I'm like, you know what? You are him. He's been around you too much. You're going to walk around here barefoot. You're going to be going around talking to people. But it was something I appreciated. I thank God that my daughter had opportunity to experience that the children that he dealt with, that he drummed with, that he spoke to, they experienced that. I mean, in my neighborhood, we were actually visiting a neighborhood, and we walked around in downtown Charleston just talking to people, and we canvassed one area, and we were talking to 12-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and a lot of our young men were sharing some, experiences with them and telling them that they basically didn't feel like they were even going to live past tomorrow. They had no future, and he stood there, he listened to them. I think that was one thing, is he was a true active listener. He didn't just, and he listened to you. And as he did, he shared and he planted seeds to let them know this isn't the end all be all, brother. There's more to you than this story that they're painting for you. So continue to love yourself. And if you don't love you, I love you. And that was something I feel like he left with everyone. And I appreciate it. And earlier I showed a video, Prince I Heard, and he shared an experience about someone else being gunned down. And it's interesting that now that's his story at this time. But it's not just his story. This may have been how it was taken from this earth, but that's not all there is to me. There's so much I'm leaving behind. There's so much to continue through you and through what I've given. So I encourage us to continue to remember all the good that he shared with us, to continue to share his story with our children, to continue to ask questions and look for answers, and continue to create your own story. So definitely, and there's a picture that we showed earlier with a group of people. It just shows you the devotion he had. Even when he was in a room full of people, And I don't care if it was sun beaming. He had this light that radiated where you could pick him out from any crowd. And that was with us. We were at a Tech Up Step Up area where we had an exchange of information between our youth and our elders. And he made sure that our youth and our elders equally shared. And it was just powerful. And it's actually up now on our screen. And he is there with his fist in the air, still calm, because one thing is, even though he was in the spotlight, he didn't really care for the spotlight. He just cared about the work and the seeds that were being planted. And we love him for that. And I appreciate you guys coming here and joining us. I appreciate Ms. Regina Mujahid for sharing with us and joining us and share how you feel and giving your heart here. Because I know right now things are so fresh, it's tough, and we're hurting. But you know what? He wants us not to mourn, but to celebrate. He wants us to support the family, and not just today, not just this week, but even further on, past just this moment. So, our hearts go out to the family as well, and the ways that we can pray for you, celebrate you, help you, even after funerals and things of that nature, just to continue his story and to help you any way that we can. That's what we're here for. And to close out today, I just want to share with you some of the last things. He helped me with quite a few things, including a Stop the Bleeding, Start the Healing campaign, and I think that's something very important. And here's a message that I think Muhyiddin would like for us to hear. Thank you for joining Driven TV. Follow us on Facebook, togetherweshall.com. And for any more information or questions or pictures, you can also see us on Facebook. We're going to continue to share Muhyiddin, aka Moya's legacy, his life, and his journey. Thank you.